press the record there now. Hello, good morning. This is day 3, and we're back again at Cockenzie. You can just about see the flowers. I'll let you see them first on the video so they can properly see the whole lot. And now I'm going to slide it over because I need to see them. Yeah, so you're very welcome. Now, if there's a farting noise, it's not me. It's because Veronica has a blessed thing planted here, which I noticed. Oh, that's funny. Why don't you make it go? Yeah, see? That's not me now. It's shocking, isn't it? Maybe I should start the video again. So you can take your just plant it under your own bum. You can't take her anywhere, honestly. It's quite good. It's a good one. I mean, it sounds real. Yeah, it doesn't it? It's got different. So we embrace our child here. Do when hope comes in. Yeah, I know. What did you have for breakfast? Honestly, I had curry last night. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Did you hear that? She's like farting that. Thanks. Okay. I don't think Hope is going to be taken in. In fact, actually, Hope, you were really good with the farting cushions. Do you remember whenever anyone came, you'd put a farting cushion under them? Oh, was that Rita? Oh, that was my sister. Was that a cushion one? It was my sister Rita. She used to have a cushion, yeah. And like I remember friends of ours coming for the first time to have dinner with us, and she put it underneath them. But you know, they were quite shy, and like this kind of flatulent thing. And she really managed to sneak it under. It was their first time meeting my parents as well, these two guys, and they were mortified, bright red faces. Okay, so I'm going to put out some Hooker's Green. I know how to edit the start and end of videos, so I can kind of tune that out. So Hope, what did we say? 20 minutes maybe? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to put out some, you remember the brown, green and blue mix? I mean, it's good not to have a kind of a conveyor belt way of working. So I'm not going to assume that I'll always start like that. But when I look here, there is the kind of staccato of 3 areas of green in between these lovely flourishing camellias. And so I think it's a sensible place to start. I don't want to make it difficult for myself by trying to do it differently each time. You know, if it's not broken, don't fix it as well. Like, okay. So I've got those three colours, and I'm using the brush dry. That's good to notice that now, because sometimes there's enough fluidity in the paint to make it, to limber it up for you. So I quite like that colour now do you see what I'm trying to aim for here? Something like that, but close enough, maybe a little bit more brown, just to knock the kind of green out of it altogether. And later we can tighten it when it dries. Okay. And I've turned the board this way, and I'm still swithering about it because actually, I think I'm just going to give the stage fully to the flowers. As much as I love your jug, I feel like I want the flowers to be the thing that are. I was thinking I could do this quirky composition where I've got the jug over to one side, but actually I'm too much in love with these flowers to cut off any of them. You know what I mean? I had thought that if it was a vertical composition, I might have put the jug here and just have the camellias and the forsythia, but I want the lily as well. So I'm doing it this way instead. And like I was saying to you, Liv, it's important that you feel comfortable with the height, that you make sure that you know, don't tolerate being uncomfortable and not feeling the rhythm of your own carry-on. Now there's a little orange flower sticking down there, and I'm not so keen on that being part of my composition. So like we were saying earlier, I'm going to leave it out. We can leave things out. We don't have to include them. I'm just going to, actually, when I do that, people can see the flowers as well as the thing, I think. No, you're not at all. I think I'm just making it so that I'm not in the way of the paper. Okay. So Just a little kind of refresher on that whole setup thing, to remember to find yourself a position where you can see the flowers and see the board, you know, by only moving your eyes. And already you can begin making the shapes even in the air before you start. You know, there's this kind of tumble of camellias, the shooting up of the lily there, and then this spattering of forsythia. I thought of something, the kitchen paper. There it is. Good. Okay. And like I was saying to you before, if you wanted to, you could have your paint on the table and use a second palette for mixing. You know, you could take off the top leaf off your palette, stick it on the table. You get what I mean, don't you? You know. And remember to breathe. Shake it off, jump up and down, all of that stuff. Because that really, yeah, it really is helpful. And you're kind of dancing the paint along as well. It's not that you suddenly stop and then you do something here. It all feeds into the, it's like a dance. Or maybe, like my friends in Ireland said, you're like Barry McGuigan kind of boxing, you know, going in for the mark, like, or fencing with the easel. You know yourself. Having a kind of a sense of movement as you work is great. Okay, and you'll find that you tune in then to the growth, the surge of growth of the things that you're painting, which are called leaves. There we are. Okay, I'm actually just going to do this because it's making more work for me to have to keep bending down to pick up more paint. And it's important too to have a runway behind you. So as I painted that, I see how it's going quite green, so I put more brown in again to just take the brightness out of that. And I think if I was to advise you on anything regarding the green, it is to make it less bright early on. You can always liven it up later, but I would err on the side of making it kind of muted and dark in the beginning. And it's from the dark, it's like Matt Haig said, the darks accentuate the light. You know, in the river, there's the dark ripples, and it makes the lights brighter. So what you're doing is like as I say, like the bass in music, the darks kind of hang it all together. Now this is the shooting up from the jug of the green that goes towards the pink gerbera there. And hope you did set the timer, love, didn't you? Oh, brilliant. Yeah, no rush, no, it's fine. It's just really helpful for me to know that someone else is in charge of that. Okay. Right. Yeah, and the thing is that what's on there isn't just where you touch it. It's kind of before and after imbues the mark with that energy, I think. So it feels like a general sweeping statement will capture more clearly the gesture. And then you can come back in and do something like that might feel more like the shape of the leaf. You know, there's something about first expressing the, you can see, okay. There's something, I think, about first expressing the general, and then this will probably come up a little bit more, I think. There. Sorry, Helen. So I'm seeing the kind of staggered movement through. And maybe this will even come further over, because I think there's more distance there. And like, it's good to have the evidence of the finding process in your work. It's okay if it's not, you know, it's kind of exciting, the finding marks and the things that are approximate. This is what painting is, really, you know. You don't suddenly think, oh, that's exactly where that needs to be. That kind of takes the curiosity out of it, and it means that you nail something down. Whereas I think when we keep a kind of an open, morning, oh, there's a nice smell of bacon rolls there. When you keep an open, what was I saying there now? Curiosity, yeah. when you kind of keep an open attitude, that allows it to speak to you more. And when I mean open in that you're always there's always the potential of moving and shifting and changing things. And in the end, nature is movement, isn't it? And creativity is movement. And that's why I think there's something about movement that's underrated in all of this. In all of this carry on. And then there's the lovely tulip. I've got some cadmium yellow from yesterday still there now, and I think that mixed in with the kind of greeny brown that was on the brush might work for the colour of the tulip that's shooting up there a bit. I mean, it needs to be lighter, but you can make it maybe lighter with especially the one over here is going into the sun, is going into the, not the sun, but the brightness, Maybe it's, see how I'm trying to find it there? And actually maybe it's that I need the lemon yellow. Lemon yellow is a little bit more, and I know I'm not finishing many sentences, no, sorry. And then something here. Okay, and there's the iris kind of going up there too. I mean, I don't know if I'm getting the position of things, but I feel like I'm enjoying the dance of it, trying to find it anyway. That's going there, and then down here, yeah. I mean, it might even be a little bit further over. Put some of the yellow out. Yeah, because I think that tulip could do with more yellow in it. And it'll go like that, like, I think it's there more than there when I look at that leaf. I remember painting a portrait demonstration one time to a group, and someone over there said, but you can't see the other side of the face. And I thought, no, you can't. I can. They kind of wanted it to look on the page like they could see. It was really funny. I just thought, and they didn't get it, like, so I just let it be for, yeah. It's interesting though, how we fool ourselves a little bit, like. Okay, what's happening there now? I suppose I could lift off now maybe the position. It's like you can stab in where the main colours are. And these two gerbera, actually there's kind of a nice trajectory down to the orange one. Maybe I'll reintroduce that again, I don't know. Because there's the pink one, which is sitting maybe there-ish. I might need to readjust the position of the tulip again. But like you can kind of choose what it is that'll be your anchor in any moment. So there can be a flux, and whatever happens, it'll be an inspiring surface to work over anyway. So you don't have to know in advance exactly the relationship, but keep curious and open to what's here, and eventually it'll, as Sickert said, eventually the deaf canvas listens and the painting paints itself. That's that sense of being in the flow and things are just doing what they will, and there's no pressure. So that'll be red and that'll be pink, and then there's these forsythia kind of leaves. Just put some up there. Well, I'm glad of the opportunity to kind of respond to that, and to see what it is that is the response. And if it only makes sense to me, that needs to be enough, I think. I would say that for everybody. You only want to have the opportunity. Well, I suggest that your main focus be on representing what moves you, or even just being open to whatever it is that wants to you know, whatever you want to do with your hands in response to what you're seeing. And this is what I want to do when I see forsythia, right? Something like this. That, you know, because this is the feeling of it, isn't it? I remember when Erin was born, we had a forsythia tree outside the kitchen door, and it was a canopy of that, and it was just so beautiful. And she was sitting there, the gorgeousness of her, you know, that kind of thing, because she was born in March, and so I had a summer of sitting under that forsythia bush, and every time I see a bush of forsythia, I think of that. And we all have our own memories and experiences that we bring to everything, even unknown to ourselves, unconsciously. There might be associations that'll be possible to come through here. There's a doorway opens with colour and flowers, and yeah. So what a gift, eh? To be able to be here doing this. I feel like maybe, you know, we don't need an awful lot more talk about it, but maybe you just want to get going. What do you think? Do you feel
Excuse me, just leaving it was just a message.
from
Have
Krista?
left a parcel at my door, front door. So I'm just.
Why did they do that in the middle of the city, like?
Neighbours to say hi.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Honest to God. I'm just going to stick a bit of purple there. I may as well keep going for until the bell, I suppose, will I? Hope. How long have I got? Oh yeah. Okay, so I've got a bit of purple, of yellow in my hand now, which is making that. So I'm going to use my other hand, which is probably still yellow too. Might not be though. It's not so bad. Or what about using a brush? That novel idea. Because I think that one there, I'm just going to use the dry brush and just, you know, represent something of it. And I know that later I can make it a bit more the colour I want it to be. But just to indicate even the position of it for myself will be enough for now. And the same brush is fine for this. If it was yellow going into, you know, if I wanted to make a yellow flower here, I would definitely change my brush, but those two are not that dissimilar from each other. So I just didn't bother washing the brush in between. I'm making it a bigger shape than it is now, but I can eat in with the kitchen paper. Even the one that has a bit of green on it might already let me make. No, it's not going to go green, is it? But I can just begin to lift off the shape that feels like the gerbera there. And it's a bit like Constable's Haywain. I want there to be a bright red in the midst of, I don't want there to be diluted bits of red everywhere, really. You know, so that's why I'm kind of keen to clean up around it. Because, you know, opposites on the colour wheel, when they're placed beside each other, as Damien Callum would say, they excite each other. And when they're mixed together, they cancel each other out. So I want this to be exciting in the midst of all the green. I mean, I don't want it to, it already is, really. It already is. Okay, so we've got those two. And then, like, I'm inspired by all of your blousy camellias yesterday. Every one of you did something beautiful to explain them. So there's no pressure here now for me trying to. But I've got a colour that I think it's quite good, isn't it? Yeah, I mean it's kind of the mid-tone really of the camellia, and I don't know if I've left really enough space to fill them all in there. And I think someone yesterday said there might be something kind of slightly salmony.
Yeah, that was Caroline.
Oh, Caroline, yeah. So she's not here now. I don't know, like, do I want to do something else with that? Yeah, like I sense that maybe something that'll kind of knock the blue pink. I don't think I will. I'd like to use them, but I think I don't have time now. If I started on them, I mightn't stop, Veronica, because they're so gorgeous. Have you seen on the shelf over there? But I suppose I do want to bring something like orange over fuck's sake. Yes. I just wonder whether what I need is a touch of that colour in there. I mean, this is a real experiment here now. We'll see. Oh my god, it's completely orange. That's maybe not as easy. I had the squeegee thing, didn't I? I could lift off. Using the squeegee, I can lift off, you know, most of the orange there. Gosh, it's really quite a dominant orange, that one, which is exciting if we wanted orange there, like. But I just wanted it to kind of inform the pink a little bit. And I think I could, this might be one of those occasions where I could let myself off the hook now after I've merged the orange and pink together. I could make myself do something general somewhere else that would, that might affect what happens over here. I'll just refine the shapes of the greens between best I can. And I think I need a lesson on how to paint camellias from all of you who did them so nicely yesterday. I know, I kind of love them, and I'd say it's the kind of one that you could model after the event if there's something down just to say this is the position they occupy. And I might just kind of take myself off somewhere different entirely now for a second and just, you know, take the attention away over there. And just see, you know, the shooting off of the lily leaves. Stand back. Yeah, and I'm going to take off more of that orange just because it's not reading to me at all as the camellia. And maybe what would happen there is just to find a pink that's a little bit more, I mean, it's awfully muddy now, but to find a pink that's not quite, I think that might have been a little bit in-betweeny, kind of insipid or something for the camellias to start with. In hindsight, I might have gone for something that kind of tone, maybe. So that's my time up now. So I've not had, well, that's not too bad. When I look in I can kind of tell what I'm trying to do, so that's okay. And if you can keep on that edge of like, slightly forget what's going on, to, I think I know what I'm going to do next. All you need is to know the next step. There's no need to have a big kind of undertaking for yourself. Just the next, as she said in Not Let It Go, but the next one, that movie, she says, just take the next right step. You know, Elsa in the cave towards the light. Anyway, I think some people hate that film. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and let's see what happens.